Sa aming professor, Dr. Melissa Napil, at sa aking mga classmates, isang magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ngayon ay aking tatalakayin at iisa-isahin kung ano po ba itong tinatawag na generalizability, reliability, and transferability of a qualitative research. Pero bago ang mga yun ay aalamin muna natin kung ano ba yung tinatawag na qualitative research. Qualitative research involves collecting and analyzing non-numerical data to understand concepts, opinions, or experiences. It can be used to gather in-depth insights into a problem or generate new ideas for research. Pasok sa qualitative research ang mga pag-aaral na nakatuon sa pag-alam, pagtukoy sa mga konsepto, sa mga opinyon ng tao, sa mga perception ng mga tao, or kahit sa mga experiences ng mga tao. Kabilang din or pasok din sa qualitative research ang mga pag-aaral na naglalayong mailarawan ang kultura ng isang tao o ng grupo. Kadalasang ginagamit na pamaraan sa paglikom ng datos under qualitative research ay ang survey, interview, at pwede na rin yung group discussions. Ngayon, paano natin ma-assess ang isang qualitative research? Ano ba yung mga ginagamit natin na mga standard to assess qualitative research? Isa sa mga standard ay ang generalizability. It is the degree to which you can apply the results of your study to a broader context. Ang resulta ba ng ating mga pananaliksik ay napakikinabangan ba hindi lang ng ating target population, kundi beyond target populations. Halimbawa, si Teacher Maria ay magsasagawa ng isang pananaliksik or interview sa mga BARM teachers hinggil or ukol sa positibong na idudulot ng paglagay ng dekorasyon sa classroom sa pagkatuto ng mga mag-aaral. Kung ano man ang magiging kalabasan ng pag-aaral ni Teacher Maria ay useful for BARM. Ngayon, para masabi natin na generalizable ang kanyang findings, hindi lang ang BARM teachers ang makikinabang, kundi makinabang na rin ang mga teachers coming from Region 12, Davao regions, or even from Zamboanga regions. In other hand, how can we say a research findings as non-generalizable? For instance, si Sir Juan ay magsasagawa ng kaparehong pananaliksik. Ngayon, ang kanyang questions or assumptions ay hindi umayon doon sa tugon, response ng kanyang sample or ng kanyang respondents. So that case will be basis na masasabi natin na ang kanyang research findings is non-generalizable. Pero ang resulta, ang kanyang research ay may tuturing pa rin na valid. So those are the cases or scenario which is parallel to generalizability. Another standard is reliability. The term reliability in research refers to consistency of a research study or measuring tool. In research, reliability describes the degree that the results of a given study can be repeated or replicated under the same conditions. So for instance, same investigations was carried out again by other researchers using the same methods and obtaining almost same results. So those are connected to reliability. Another instance is a teacher uses a particular questionnaire to measure IQ level of a student. Several different teachers use the same questionnaire with the same student but give different results. This indicates that the questionnaire has low reliability as the measure of the IQ level. Such as a medical thermometer is a reliable tool that would measure the correct temperature each time it is used in the same way. So it is just implying the consistency of the instrument we are using to measure what we want to measure. Under reliability, we have internal and external. Internal reliability describes the internal consistency of a measure, such as whether the different questions known as items in a questionnaire are all measuring the same constructs. For instance, you give students a math test for number sense and logic. High internal consistency would tell you that the test is measuring those constructs well, such as number sense and logic. Low internal consistency means that your math test is testing something else like arithmetic skills instead of nahaluan na yung construct mo. Yung result of the test ay parang nagkaroon ng implication na hindi lang number sense and hindi lang logic ang na-measure, kundi nahaluan ng arithmetic skills. So that is under internal reliability. So another instance is your questionnaire comprises of different questions or different items which is focusing only on one construct, such as we can say job satisfactions, or we can say teaching methods. So we can say those items are related to one construct. So we can say that the questionnaire has high internal reliability. On the other hand, we have external reliability. It assesses consistency of a measure from one use to another. For example, a participant took an IQ test 1 year and then took the same test as a year later and gained a very similar score. So this would show external reliability. So this is connected to what I have mentioned earlier, yung same investigation or yung same research na ginawa ulit ng ibang mananaliksik gamit yung kanilang same method, then come up with the same or almost same result. So those scenario are under external reliability. Another standards we can use to assess qualitative research is transferability. Ano ba yung ililipat natin from our research? It refers to the extent to which research findings can be applied to different situations or contexts. To achieve transferability, researchers must provide rich and detailed descriptions of their research methods and findings. So, ang ililipat natin yung research findings natin to the real world. So, the readers will appreciate the research findings or your research findings because it has impact on their experiences. Mayroong pakinabang doon sa kanilang buhay, doon sa kanilang pamumuhay, or mayroong pakinabang to the real world context. For instance, in healthcare, a study on patient satisfactions can provide insights applicable to different hospitals or clinic. So ito na, nagkaroon na ng resulta, nagkaroon na ng impact yung isang study to the field of medicine, or specifically for the professors and for the doctors, or for the nurses. Another instance is in the field of education. So ano ba yung pakinabang ng mga isinasagawa natin ng mga pananaliksik sa Department of Education? So for instance, a research projects on teaching methods can offer valuable guidance to educators in diverse school settings. Kung anuman ang findings na yan related to teaching methods or project teaching methods, maaari natin gamitin yun as our basis to uplift our teaching practices. to upgrade our teaching practices at para magabayan na rin yung flow of instructions natin. By sharing detailed information, researchers enable others to assess transferability of the findings. So, that's why na research findings natin ay klaro, malinaw para sa mga mambabasa. Kasi nga, mambabasa ang mag-a-assess kung mayroon bang, kung transferable ba yung research findings natin. Mayroon bang pakinabang yung research findings natin to their experiences. So those scenario, those situations are parallel to transferability. Remember, transferability enhances the value and impact of qualitative research in diverse real-world contexts. O isang pananaliksik pero may pakinabang to different professions, to different experiences. So those are the standards we can use to assess a qualitative research. Now we are bound to ethical considerations in research. To begin with the golden rule, honesty, plagiarism, informed consent, and permission to publish. The golden rule, or the underlying principle. Treat others as you yourself want to be treated, and provide benefit to the organizations and individuals involved on your work. So under this principle, we can apply the principle of moralistic approach. Kung sa tingin natin ay mali yung movement, we should not pursue. Meron din mga pagkakataon na nagagamit natin ng walang acknowledgement o nagagamit natin ang mga statement, findings ng walang acknowledgement for the original author. So kung gawin yun, so kung sa atin yun gawin ay maaring masasaktan din tayo as an owner of the statement. Okay, so one thing we need to consider is honesty. Kailan ba tayo nagiging matapat kapag nagsasagawa tayo ng research? So we should be honest about their data, their findings, and their research methods. So kasi nga under qualitative research ay gagawa tayo ng several questionnaires na dapat bago natin yon gagamitin ay dumadaan muna yan sa mga tamang proseso such as pilot testing, reliability test, or CEFA, or yung exploratory factor analysis. So kung hindi man na-meet ng ating questionnaire yung reliability test, so we should not pursue to use the questionnaire. So be honest. And the findings, how can we apply honesty in formulating findings? So such as there is a scenario na babaguhin natin yung findings natin para lang ma-achieve yung positive correlations or significant correlations of our findings. So that is under honesty. Honesty in doing a qualitative research. Plagiarism, or yung tinatawag natin na pangungopia. Plagiarism is a deliberate copying of someone else's works and presenting it as one's own. So using someone's intellectual property without giving credit or without acknowledgement. If material has been copied or referenced from somewhere else, then these sources must be properly acknowledged. Yung simpleng paggamit lang ng ating mga larawan from the books, ililipat natin sa mga module, ay dapat laging nakalakip yung source. Kung kanino, kung saan nagmula ang larawan. So, yun yung tamang proseso para maiwasan natin ang plagiarism. Another ethical considerations is informed consent, pagpapaalam. Informed consent is an important ethical principle in qualitative research. So dahil magsasagawa ka ng survey, questionnaire, dapat meron kang prior communication, asking permissions. Magpapaalam ka doon sa institutions or industry na magsasagawa ka ng interview, ng survey, para at least ma-aware sila kung ano yung dapat nilang i-prepare para sa iyong research. Another ethical consideration is permission to publish. It is important to maintain confidentiality if that was assumed or requested by the people being studied. So there is a circumstance na ang respondents natin ay nagre-request na, Sir, Ma'am, kailangan ba, pwede ba na hindi ko na lang ilalagay yung aking pangalan or yung mga personal information ko? So we should allow that. So we should respect that decisions. Meron ding mga pagkakataon na yung research findings ng isang research ay naaapektuhan yung prinsipyo, yung paniniwala ng isang readers, paniniwala sa yung pagtingin niya doon sa respondents mo, pagtingin niya doon sa industry or institutions na naging respondents mo. So maaring mabago yung kanyang pagtingin doon sa institution na yon dahil doon sa influensya ng inyong research findings. Kaya mahalaga masyado na magpaalam muna tayo, ipa-review natin sa kanila or i-publish muna natin sa kanila kung ano man yung kinalabasan ng ating research. So yun po yung mga ethical considerations na kailangan nating i-apply in doing a research, in a qualitative research. So kung meron po kayong mga katanungan or kung karagdagan, so open po ako. So muli, maraming salamat po sa ating lahat. Isang magandang araw po sa inyo.